Good morning, everyone. Well, um, first of all, we'd like to welcome you all to Moniepoint stage. Um, yeah, I mean, look at this setup. The team did a phenomenal job. Um, so, a little bit about myself. Um, I work at Moniepoint, and I'm responsible for mergers and acquisitions at the business. Prior to that, spent time as an investor and was fortunate to have been able to kind of follow Moniepoint's journey from that vantage point as well prior to journey. So, uh, a bit about um, today's topic. Really, we want to be focusing and talking a little bit about commerce. Commerce in the context of Moniepoint, we think about it as just the buying and selling of goods and services. So, as a fintech, we think about commerce as being the key thing we're trying to accelerate through the variety of products and services that we offer, be that payments, banking, lending, and the like. So a little bit about us. So Moniepoint set out with a mission really to focus on. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Moniepoint set out with a mission to deliver financial happiness, and what we mean by that really is in the context of providing for various businesses and individuals all across Africa, and we think at the core of that financial happiness really comes from being able to kind of earn through participating in commerce. Today we serve roughly 10 million customers across businesses and individuals, and have developed a position as one of the preeminent players in the Nigerian fintech scene. So a little bit about kind of our background. The company was founded in 2015. Initially focused on providing digital banking solutions to a variety of banks in Nigeria, and very quickly thereafter pivoted to becoming the current iteration, which is focused more on providing a suite of solutions for businesses, both online and offline. The offline product being Moniepoint, the online product being Monify. In 2020, we moved to become the leading agency banking player in Nigeria. So when we say agency banking, really leveraging a network of agents who allow customers to withdraw cash or deposit cash as needed. And in 2022, we expanded beyond agency banking to provide payments acceptance solutions, be that transfers, cards, and the like, intentionally servicing small businesses. And in 2023, we now opened up what I describe as our consumer arm, Moniepoint Personal, through which we provide bank accounts and saving solutions for individuals in addition to businesses. So, the state of African commerce today. Just want to kind of touch on a few key points. Today, consumer spend is in excess of 1.4 trillion, accounting for more than 50% of Africa's GDP. And through that, we see that as a critical key economic activity. And these are some of the metrics that we think about as we go about accelerating commerce as Moniepoint. Another realization of where we are today is that a significant portion of this commerce is still largely informal. So be that it's small mom and pop shops, buying and selling goods that aren't necessarily covered by regulators and the like. To this end, we actually put together a very good report on the informal economy, and that's available at the Moniepoint booth. And most of the consumption and spending there in these categories is focused on core necessities. And the way I'd like to think about it is, from a hierarchy of needs perspective, focusing on things like food, transportation, and housing. Key critical spend categories that people cannot live without. Those are some of the key things that are most prescient to a lot of consumers. So, be it as it may, the state of commerce isn't without its challenges. Today, we continue to be we continue to battle this large over-reliance on cash, where some 90% plus of transactions are still very much cash-based. And we see this as really the key thing to tackle. Cash, for the masses is very attractive given that it's legal tender, it's easy to kind of trust because it's tangible. You can see, touch, and feel it. And in addition, we find that intra-Africa trade is still yet to have fully been unleashed. While we've had advances in Africa Free Trade Agreement, we think there's a lot more that can be unlocked there. And the third point really is limited access to finance. SMEs, small, medium enterprises all across the continent continue to face critical challenges as it relates to growing and scaling their business due to inability to access capital. So, having kind of talked a little bit about kind of the state of African commerce, an overview and the challenges, I thought it good to kind of talk a little bit about our approach at Moniepoint and kind of what I see as being key to allowing us breakthrough in our core market of Nigeria. So I see part of the business's success as being able to develop a wedge. And I think we think about that in two segments. The first being agency banking, because at the end, at its core, we're battling cash. We sought to kind of provide a solution that could replicate the same level of ubiquity, and also to leverage trust. So when you think about kind of a lot of the social fabric in a lot of core African markets, it's rooted in the fact that can see, touch, and feel the person next to you. So through leveraging the agency banking, the agent became a proxy for trust, through which they could interact with digital payments. In spite of the fact that they can't see, touch, or feel the payments, you could physically interact with a person that would always see to it that your transaction gets done and in the appropriate manner. In addition to that, solving just a critical pain point, which is providing a solution that works definitively. That really allowed a lot of customers to really start to develop a level of trust for the solutions we're providing. And so on the agency banking piece, the accelerant that kind of really brought it full circle after having developed a wedge was riding on some of the macro tailwinds. So during 2020, 2021, with the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw a large number of bank branches in the Nigerian market close temporarily. And without that avenue through which folks could go and withdraw cash and the like, they ended up moving over to and interacting with agents. And through that, we're able to kind of grow and proliferate our network. On the merchant acquiring side, we sought to really look at small businesses as folks that we could help unlock value. So we looked at it from more of a revenue expansion perspective. How can we help a merchant grow their revenue as much as possible? And I think starting from core principles, it really centers around the ability to just accept payments of any sort. And through that, help grow the pie for them and ourselves. And where we saw this come full circle was during cashless policy in the Nigerian market during 2023, whereby cash and circulation was constricted, and as a result, we saw a huge uptake in transfers and bank transfers and card usage, all of which was flowing through our point-of-sale terminal devices. So, having talked a little bit about our approach and how we broke through, I thought it good to kind of talk about the product suites and solutions that we provide at Moniepoint today, with our service offering really anchored around the bank account. So our solutions can be thought of in kind of three large buckets. The first being payments. Payments in the vein of offline payments and online payments. From online payments, we provide a suite of solutions, including the payment gateway, so allowing you to pay for transactions, for example, whether you're using e-commerce, bank transfers, so providing bank account transfer infrastructure, and bill payments and airtime, so as you top up your phone and the like. And then on offline, we have what I would describe as more of our classic point-of-sale solutions that allow people to accept cards, withdraw cash, and also to deposit cash for the specific purpose of paying bills and such. Now, on the digital banking side, we, in recent years, acquired a microfinance bank, and through that have sought to deliver a full suite of solutions integrated with our payments business. So through that, we're able to provide savings accounts, online interactive dashboards, both in web apps and standalone iOS and Android applications. Provide cards, so we're able to issue cards to a variety of our customers, be they businesses and individuals, and also to now starting to introduce loyalty and reward solutions aimed at increasing activity within the Moniepoint ecosystem. And the latest entrant really is the credit and protection solutions. I would say in the past year or two, we've brought to market working capital solutions in the form of very deliberate and specific loan solutions attuned to merchant needs and wants, and in addition to that, also providing merchant cash advances, such that we're able to leverage based on our working relationship with the understanding of how businesses run and operate, what their cash flow cycle is, when they're likely to run low on capital, and step in and provide those solutions accordingly. But also to, at the same time, working with them to provide a healthy and deliberate payment schedule, such that they're able to repay that loan accordingly. And in addition, we provide POS, point-of-sale insurance, for the devices that many of our merchants have on hand. So, as we continue to grow the business, the goal really is to increase the level of cross-sell around the bank account. For many customers, that the Moniepoint bank account is the first point of entry into the ecosystem, and from there we seek to fill all of their wants and needs with the suite of products that we have today and continue to add going forward. So we've talked a little bit about the state of Africa commerce. We talked a little bit about our story at Moniepoint, and also to shared on our product solution suite, all of which has helped us attain the position of Nigeria's largest merchant acquirer. Some of you might have seen the numbers. Financial Times, fastest growing Africa fintech. Processing 200 billion plus in annual payments volume. And for many, people ask me and say, well, Peter, this is a business that has already hit significant scale in its core market of Nigeria. What else is there possibly to do? And as an organization, we think we still yet to scratch the surface on the broader payments opportunity and banking opportunity across the continent. So in the coming years, what you can expect to see from us is new products. As we continue to build out the Moniepoint ecosystem, if you could think back to that last graphic that I showed with the bank account being at the center, adding additional products to deepen cross-sell across the ecosystem. You'll also see from us new initiatives. We continue to grow at a rapid pace. We're constantly hiring. I think just some few weeks back, we launched Dream Devs, a developer program aimed at hiring young technical talent. And as we continue to grow, we will be doing more of those type of initiatives. And lastly, new markets. Having kind of achieved a very prime position in the Nigerian market, we look to other markets where we can bring and evangelize digital payments, much like what we did in Nigeria. And to this end, you can expect to see Moniepoint launching in a number of new markets in the years ahead. And yeah, I mean, we're at a very interesting inflection point in our journey, and there's a lot of excitement around the business. And yeah, I encourage you to, please do reach out, either to myself or my colleagues here. We have a booth outside. And yeah, thank you for having me. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. You really worked within your time, and you have some extra minutes to take a few questions. So you see, if you manage your time well, then you can pick some questions. But if you don't, then anyway. So we are going to pick a few questions from the crowd to Mr. To Moniepoint, please, if you have any questions. A mic to the gentleman, please. Thanks.
Hello, Ian Bushell. I wondered if you could tell us a bit about the Visa investment, how that has changed your strategy, your outlook, your future.
Yeah. I guess I'm well placed to answer that. So yeah, as you might have seen in the news in recent weeks, we received a strategic investment from Visa, and I think what we're excited about at Moniepoint as it relates to the Visa investment is the ability to kind of grow payments acceptance across the continent as it relates to both cards and contactless. And to this end, we as we work through the transaction, we really saw a strategic fit. At our core in the Nigerian market, we are one of the largest card acceptance platforms out there. And also, too, as the consumer business has grown and achieved significant scale, have become a large issuer as well. So we see synergies from that perspective in terms of spreading the I would say from the perspective of spreading digital payments as relates to both cards and contactless on the issuing and the acquiring side. And for us, it only works to grow our ecosystem because we're coming at it from both sides of the equation. But yeah, it's exciting. so we expect to do work, principally in Nigeria, and then also to taking it to other markets. Any other questions?
What are the latest developments in Moniepoint's presence in Kenya?
Pardon?
What are the latest developments in Moniepoint's presence in Kenya?
Yeah, good question. So our work in Kenya is very much ongoing. I think the thing that we're very focused on as an organization is continuing to ensure that we're making very very well-intentioned and deliberate approaches to launching product, because as one key difference between Kenya and, say, for example, our core market of Nigeria is really the proliferation of mobile money, right? So I think for us, we've taken a very measured approach to how we think about the market, really from the perspective of really working to derive and provide the best possible value proposition given the dynamics of this market. So we're very much still working on it and working at it. I continue to spend a good amount of my time here outside of the conference working through those things. So yeah, stay tuned.
Thank you for the talk. The suite of products you mentioned, the bank account at the center,
Yep.
And then feeding into the rest of your ecosystem, really, really interesting in terms of serving your future growth. What other opportunities do you see? You mentioned sort of moving to new countries, new innovations, but are you thinking about how else to grow that ecosystem? Really curious about that. Thank you.
Yeah. I think as we continue to develop and grow our suites of products and services, we put the customer at the very center of it. So when we think about, okay, the ideal customer profile, let's say a small or micro merchant that is, let's say, selling, is a mom and pop store selling goods and services. We think about, okay, what are the range of solutions and the difficulties that they face? Okay, accepting payments, the ability to accept payments of all types, that's table stakes. Now, going beyond that, we find that there are other things that they're facing difficulty or challenges with: accounting, reconciliation. So from a product development perspective, that's where we're starting to kind of shift our attention to. And even thinking about also even just enhancing and preserving the value that they do derive from running their business, whether it's saving, investing. So that's kind of like a glimpse of some of the products that we're thinking about as we grow the ecosystem. Yep. Yep.
Just leading on from that question, when you're thinking about developing the ecosystem, how do you balance new products that you're going to build internally versus acquiring new capabilities to build out that ecosystem?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think for us as an organization, it comes down to focus, right? I think, we've been very fortunate in a sense where a lot of the solutions we have to date have been built in-house, from top to bottom, from an infrastructure perspective. But as we kind of continue to grow and scale, the question then comes in: where do you expend the energy and effort, and where are you getting the best return on that energy and effort? So for us, we continue to think about it in a measured manner. I mean, we're constantly looking at those, and we're constantly looking at the analyses. If we're building product, if we're spending money and resources to build a new product, it's likely shifting resources from elsewhere in the organization. Whereas, for example, to acquire a business perhaps kind of gets you there day one. But there's a spectrum to it. Sometimes it might not even just be a straight acquisition. It might be an acqui-hire. You want a foundational base that you might still build on top of. So it's hard to kind of give a very specific answer, but it's a range that we take a very measured approach towards. But it's always coming at it from the perspective of where is the best ROI, and that's typically what governs our decisions.
Hi, Peter. Wanted to say thank you for sharing your knowledge and insights here. Earlier, I scanned to open my US bank account, but I couldn't find South Africa on the list, and I was curious to know if South Africa is part of the conversation, because I can see a lot of value of what you're offering for the South African market as well.
Yeah, no. So South Africa is definitely a market that we're thinking long and hard about. But at this time, we're taking a very measured approach, looking at the range of markets through which we look to provide a suite of solutions and services in. And I mean, given just the complexity of given the complexity of the payments and banking solution in its entirety, what we find is that it's very involved, and we work through it one market at a time. So South Africa, could very well be somewhere where we end up, but it's not lost on us that there's an opportunity there. I'd spent time there some months back. Any other questions? Yeah. All right. Good. All right.